If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. Let's be honest. When you talk about the Cleveland Browns heading into the 2025 season, you're not hearing a whole lot of optimism, and hey, that's understandable. Coming off a brutal 3-14 campaign, there's not much national buzz. The spotlight's been elsewhere. On the Bengals reloading, the Ravens staying elite, and even the Steelers trying to find their way back. But if you're one of those fans who digs a little deeper, who looks beyond the box score and the flashy headlines, there's something, or rather, someone on this Browns roster that should get your attention. I'm not talking about Shedeur Sanders, though he's obviously a massive part of the future. No, the most intriguing Browns player right now, the one nobody seems to be talking about, is cornerback Cameron Mitchell. That's right. A fifth-round pick in 2023 who might just be on the verge of something big. Now I know what you're thinking. Come on, man, Cameron Mitchell, he's buried on the depth chart. And yeah, technically, that's true. As of now, he's sitting behind Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome II, and Martin Emerson Jr. That's a solid corner trio right there. No one's denying that. But let's think a little long-term here. Newsome and Emerson are both entering contract years. That means the Browns are going to have to make some tough financial decisions. And history tells us that not all three of these guys are sticking around. You don't need a crystal ball to see a path where Mitchell suddenly becomes a key piece in the secondary. The team didn't bring in any veteran corners this offseason. No flashy free agent signings. No high draft picks at that position. That's not a coincidence. Folks, that's a signal. The Browns are quietly placing a bet on Mitchell's growth, and honestly, there are reasons to believe in the kid. Sure, he played all 17 games last season, but he was only on the field for 34% of the defensive snaps. That's not a lot. But what he did with that limited time, it wasn't bad. He notched 20 for tackles and broke up a couple of passes. Okay, that's not Pro Bowl stuff, I get it. But he also didn't look lost out there, and for a rookie in the AFC North, that counts for something. The game wasn't too big for him. He showed poise. He played within the system, and he didn't make dumb mistakes. That's huge for a young defensive back. The Browns coaching staff clearly noticed, because instead of replacing him this offseason, they basically said, let's see what he's got. That's not something you do unless you've got confidence in a guy's work ethic and football IQ. Remember, Mitchell was a solid player at Northwestern. He wasn't some YouTube highlight reel corner. He was a technician. He studied offenses, stayed disciplined in coverage, and tackled well. Oh, and he was teammates with Greg Newsome for a couple years there. So he knows what it takes to compete at a high level. He wasn't a flashy prospect heading into the 2023 draft. But Cleveland saw something in him, enough to spend a day 3 pick, and for a team with a reputation for valuing defensive backs, that's no small investment. He came into the league with that chip on his shoulder, and even now, he still plays like a guy trying to prove he belongs. That mentality matters, especially on a defense that's going to be under pressure all season long. And look, Mitchell's not going to blow you away with measurables. He's got average size. And while he's athletic, he's not some freakish burner. But here's the thing, you don't have to be a track star to be a good corner in this league. Technique, awareness, positioning, that stuff goes a long way. And Mitchell's got a knack for reading quarterbacks. He's one of those corners who's always in the right place. That kind of consistency is what earns you trust from your coaches. And more snaps on Sundays. Don't be surprised if, by midseason, you see him rotating in more regularly. If the Browns decide to move on from either Newsome or Emerson, and let's be real, cap space is tight, Mitchell's number will be called, and from everything we've seen, he'll be ready. Think about how important depth is at cornerback. In today's NFL, with all these wide-open offenses and multiple receiver sets, you can't just rely on solid starters anymore. You need 3, 4, sometimes even 5 guys who can play. Injuries happen, matchups change. And that's where a guy like Mitchell becomes invaluable. He might not be the guy making headlines, but he's the kind of player that allows your defense to hold the line when someone goes down. If the Browns' defense is going to take a step forward in 2025, it won't just be because of stars like Myles Garrett or Denzel Ward. It'll be because of unsung guys like Mitchell doing their job. Every single snap, every contender needs those glue guys, and Mitchell's got all the makings of one. Training camp is going to be a huge proving ground for him. The reps will be there, especially in preseason games when starters sit. and the coaches want to see what their depth looks like. This is Mitchell's moment if he can string together a few strong performances in August. The door could swing wide open. You'll start seeing beat reporters talking about him. Analysts will start dropping his name in sleeper lists. Fans will start asking, wait, who's this number 29 again? That's how it always starts. Quiet hype. Buzz in the locker room. Then boom, Mitchell's getting meaningful reps in Week 3 against the Ravens. Locking down slot receivers and making open field tackles. It's not out of the question. In fact, I'd say it's more likely than not at this point now. Does that mean Mitchell is going to become a star? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This isn't some Disney movie. The NFL's a grind, and breakout stories don't always have fairy tale endings. But what's realistic and exciting is that Mitchell could grow into a dependable piece of this Browns secondary. Maybe not a household name, but a guy who quarterbacks have to respect. A guy who defensive coordinators trust, and for a 5th-round pick, that's a massive win. Especially for a franchise that's trying to build something sustainable. Remember, the Browns aren't just chasing wins, they're chasing stability. Guys like Mitchell help make that possible. So yeah, while all the buzz might be on Shedeur Sanders and whether or not the offense can finally get it together, don't sleep on the other side of the ball. Defense wins games, and smart franchises know that young depth is everything. Cameron Mitchell might not be the loudest name in Cleveland right now, but come Week 1, he might just be one of the most important. Keep your eyes on him in camp. Watch how he carries himself. Watch how the coaches talk about him. Because trust me, the signs are there. He's coming, and when he arrives, everyone's going to be asking how they missed it, except you, because you heard it here first. This isn't about hyping a backup corner for clicks. It's about recognizing that in the NFL, the next breakout star doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it's the quiet guys grinding behind the scenes, biding their time, waiting for the opportunity. Mitchell is that guy. And if the Browns are going to turn things around in 2025, they're going to need someone exactly like him to step up when it matters most. Maybe he's not going to be the face of the franchise, but he could be the heartbeat of a defense that shocks some people. So next time someone says the Browns are doomed to another forgettable year, just smile and tell them to watch number 29. You won't regret it. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. The Cleveland Browns may be on the verge of making one of the most intriguing quarterback decisions in the NFL this offseason, and it all centers around rookie Shedeur Sanders. Drafted with the 144th overall pick in the 5th round, Sanders arrived in Cleveland surrounded by skepticism and curiosity. After all, this is the same quarterback who lit up the college football world at Colorado under the watchful eye of his father, Deion Sanders. Yet, falling that far in the draft sparked endless questions. Was he truly ready for the NFL? Could he handle pro-level defenses? And more importantly, did he belong in the same conversation as seasoned veterans like Joe Flacco and up-and-comers like Kenny Pickett? Fast forward just a few weeks, and it seems Shedeur is not just answering those questions, he's rewriting the narrative entirely. His early performances during OTA letters have not only impressed fans, but they've reportedly caught the attention of the entire Browns coaching staff. During the June 4th practice, Sanders delivered a performance that can only be described as a statement, completing 9 of 14 passes, throwing for 3 touchdowns and only 1 interception. He showcased poise, confidence, and decision-making well beyond what most expect from a rookie quarterback. In his first NFL offseason, he wasn't just managing drills, he was taking command. Even more impressive is that he did this against Joe Flacco, a former Super Bowl MVP who is expected to lead the Browns into 2025, and Kenny Pickett, who came to Cleveland looking to reboot his career. That kind of composure and production against veteran competition has suddenly shifted how the organization views Shedeur Sanders. No longer is he just a late-round rookie being groomed slowly in the background. Now, there's legitimate chatter that he might be more than just a developmental player. He might be the Browns' future sooner rather than later. Veteran sports writer Mary Kay Cabot, one of the most respected voices in Cleveland football reporting, revealed that the Browns are seriously considering an unusual move, keeping all 4 quarterbacks on the roster heading into the regular season. Financially, it's possible. Thanks to the relatively low cap hits and base salaries across the QB room, strategically, it allows Cleveland to hedge their bets between the present and the future. The Browns are walking a fine line right now. On one hand, they're trying to contend in 2025. On the other, they're planning for 2026. Knowing full well they own the Jacksonville Jaguars to first-round picks, which could both end up in the top 10 depending on how the Jags perform. That kind of draft capital is gold for any franchise, but it also means they need to know what they have in Shedeur Sanders before then. If Sanders continues on his current trajectory, he could very well make things uncomfortable for both Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco. Right now, Flacco holds the edge in experience, and Pickett still has the advantage of having started games in the league. But Shedeur is showing flashes of something different, something fresh. He's got the arm talent, the pocket presence, and most importantly, the confidence that you can't teach. That raw yet refined blend of talent is exactly what teams gamble on when they make a long-term investment in a quarterback, and for fans, it's a breath of fresh air. After years of instability under center, Browns supporters are beginning to feel like they might finally have their guy, even if they didn't expect it to come from the 5th round. Let's not forget that this is a franchise that's seen a carousel of quarterbacks come and go. From draft busts to veterans past their prime, the Browns have been desperately searching for stability at the quarterback position for decades. In Shedeur, some fans are already sensing something different. Maybe it's his connection to the spotlight, having grown up with Deion Sanders as a father. Maybe it's the way he commands attention without saying much, letting his play do the talking. Or maybe it's just the hunger of a young man who feels like he should have been drafted much higher and is now out to prove every single team wrong. Whatever it is, there's a quiet momentum building behind him in Cleveland, and it's starting to get louder with each passing practice inside the locker room. Players are reportedly warming up to him, and that kind of rapport can't be overstated. When a young quarterback begins to earn the respect of his teammates, especially veterans, it's often a sign that something special is brewing. Sanders isn't walking around like a rookie who's just happy to be in the league. He's preparing, learning, and most importantly, competing. According to sources within the team, his film sessions have been intense, and his willingness to absorb the playbook has been described as obsessive. That kind of dedication, combined with tangible on-field results, makes it hard for coaching staffs to ignore. It's no longer a question of if Shedeur will get a real shot, it's quickly becoming a matter of when. The Browns coaching staff now finds themselves in an interesting dilemma. Do they stick with Flacco and Pickett, hoping their experience can carry the team into the postseason? Or do they roll the dice on a young, promising quarterback who is already showing signs of NFL readiness? It's a classic NFL conundrum: play it safe with what you know or gamble on what could be. The difference now is that Shedeur is pushing that timeline faster than expected. If he has a strong training camp and preseason, the coaching staff may find themselves under pressure from both fans and players to give him more meaningful reps, and once that door opens, there's no telling how quickly Sanders could walk through it and shut it behind him. Adding to the intrigue is the Browns' long-term draft strategy. With the first-round picks from the Jaguars in 2026, Cleveland has the option to pursue another quarterback if things don't pan out with Sanders, Flacco, or Pickett. But what if Sanders proves he's the guy? What if by the end of 2025, he's clearly the best quarterback on the roster? That changes everything. Suddenly, those picks become tools to build around him: offensive line help, star receivers, defensive playmakers. The future shifts dramatically if the Browns feel they've found a franchise QB on a rookie deal. That's how dynasties start, not just with great players, but with the right ones locked in at the right time financially and developmentally. For now, the message from Cleveland is clear: nothing is off the table. They're evaluating everything, keeping all options open, and letting competition drive the decision-making process. That's exactly what you want to see from a team trying to turn the corner and become a consistent contender. The fact that Shedeur Sanders is firmly in that conversation already is nothing short of remarkable. And while no one is handing him the starting job just yet, the idea that he could win it outright in the coming months is no longer a fantasy. It's a very real possibility. Whether he's starting week 1 or not, his presence is already reshaping how we talk about the Browns' quarterback room. So as we look ahead to training camp and the preseason, all eyes will be on Shedeur Sanders. The pressure will only increase, the expectations will skyrocket, and the spotlight will follow him wherever he goes. But something tells me he's used to all that. He's been in the eye of the storm before, and he's never blinked. If anything, it brings out the best in him. Cleveland may have taken a flyer on him in the 5th round, but if his early performances are any indication, they may have just landed one of the biggest steals of the entire draft. Keep watching because the Shedeur Sanders era in Cleveland might be starting a lot sooner than anyone thought. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!